Hey everybody, today we're gonna make sushi. I just made a pot of rice on the stove. I'll go grab that real quick. And I just made it just like you would make any other rice. I use jasmine rice because the flavor is it's so much better than any other kind of rice. So you don't have to use specifically sushi rice to make this. So I just put it in this big thing. This is about, a cup and a half of dry rice. So it's a little bit more than I would make for like a normal serving for dinner. But then what you do is you have to season the rice. So I use this stuff. It's called mirin. It's a sweet cooking wine. And I just kind of pour on about 2 cupfuls of that. Some recipes have you like mix all this together in a like a measuring cup or something and then heat it up to mix it all in. I don't think it's necessary because you're gonna stir it all in anyways. And then I use a little bit of this white wine. Just anything will do, just to give it a little bit of a punch. And I do about a cupful of that. And then you wanna do about a teaspoon of sugar. I just do just a teeny bit. And then you just mix all that in while it's hot. Okay, and you want to stir it really gently. I have one of those rice wooden spoons that came with my kit, but I find this works just as well as long as you're careful not to, you know, beat up your rice. You just want to mix in all of those seasonings. Oh, and you can't forget salt. Just a teeny bit of salt to season the rice. Maybe like a quarter of a teaspoon of salt, not much, just a little sprinkle. And then what you do is you want this to cool all the way down because obviously you don't want to be touching hot rice. So we'll start our sushi rolls once this cools down. All right, you guys, my rice is cooled off, just enough to where I can touch it without burning myself. But it's really good and sticky, which is what you're looking for, so it'll stick to the nori. So I have 2 different sizes of nori. I have a really big full sheet, and then I also got these half-cut ones. I got these both off of Amazon. You can buy them at Publix or whatever local grocery store you have by the seafood section, but this is so much cheaper. Like I get a package of like 100 of these for the same price as what the store sells for like 40. And when I make sushi, I make a whole tray of sushi. You know, we love it. So my favorite 2 rolls that are pretty easy to do are the Philadelphia roll, which is just some smoked salmon and cream cheese. And then I like to do the basic California roll with, I know this is awful, but the imitation crab, cucumber, and avocado. And I also like to make up a little spicy mayo, sometimes with this, and I guess that too. It's just mayonnaise and some sriracha, and it's so good. It just makes it come to a whole new level. So I'll get all this chopped up and ready to go, and we'll start with the Philadelphia roll. This is only 3 ounces, so that'll only make like maybe 3 rolls of the half sheet. And I use the full sheet for these because it fills a lot. So, all right, let's get going. Okay, I have my cream cheese all cut and my smoked salmon. It's gonna make 3 rolls. I like it to be more filling and less rice and stuff. So these are the half sheets here that I use for the Philadelphia rolls. And you can feel like one side is smooth and shiny and the other side's a bit rough. You want to put your stuff down on the rough side. So you want to put the shiny side down. And this is one of those bamboo mats that I just bought a little kit off of Amazon, and I wrapped it in saran wrap because the sticky rice, it just makes a whole mess. So I have a little bit of water here in a little bowl. I really can't see it. And you want to dip your hands in the water. Otherwise the rice will just stick right onto your hands. So then I just get about a handful. I would say this is maybe about 1/3 of a cup of rice, and probably don't even really need that much. So, and then I just kind of ball it up in my hands, and then I just spread it onto the sheet, just like this. You want to leave like a little edge right on the end here for it to seal. And just make sure it's all even and gets right up into the corners like that. All right, then next, I like to lay down my little strips of cream cheese like that. And then here comes the smoked salmon, just right there like this. All right. Okay, so we got our cream cheese and salmon. And now what you want to do is bring this up and over like this, and you want to squeeze it back in together so you get all of those fillings put together there, okay? And then you just do the last little roll. And then you want to squeeze it all together, make sure it's all combined. And then there is your sushi roll. And then what I do is you want to get your knife wet just a little bit. This is just a little damp towel. And then I have a separate cutting board over here. And if you can't see that, bring it over here. And then I just dampen my towel, my knife, and then cut this into 8 pieces right down the center. And you want to use a sawing motion. And in between, you want to dampen your knife because that cream cheese and stuff is really sticky. Excuse my children, they just walked in. All right, and then you just cut each in half again. And it just keeps your knife really clean because like the cream cheese will leave a film on your knife. So it's good to wipe it in between. And I mean, how much would this cost you guys in like a restaurant or whatever? This is definitely a treat for us because I didn't grow any of this and I didn't raise any of this, but the kids really enjoy it. You know, these end pieces, there's really nothing you can do. I think the chefs at the restaurants, they toss them or eat them themselves. So then you have these nice, cute little Philadelphia rolls. Look at that. Doesn't that make you want to eat it? So good. And then I just stack them on this tray right here. And I usually put the end pieces all together. I'll usually eat those on my plate and give my husband the nice ones to take to work. And there you go. I can make 2 more of those and I'll bring you back when I'm ready to make California rolls. All right, I got all of my ingredients cut up and we're ready to go here. And I'm gonna make some spicy mayo, which is really super simple. Some mayo and sriracha. We don't like things too hot around here, but the kids don't usually. Michael, my son, likes this just a little bit. But this is mainly for me. Like I said, this is a major treat for us to have this. So if you're gonna do it right all the way, you know what I mean? So sometimes I just put this right on top and sometimes I'll put it inside. So I might do that. So the trick with when you do your cucumber is to measure your cucumber to be the length of your nori sheet. So you don't have a bunch of little pieces of cucumber squishing back and forth, you know, with your avocado and stuff. So let's get going. Had to have a quick sip of water. So I'm gonna wet my hands. And with those half sheets, you don't want to use as much rice as I used. That was definitely too much rice on that first one. So I probably did more of like this amount of rice for the half sheets and just a little bit more for the bigger full sheets. I don't like to have a whole bunch of rice on mine. So some people would fill this entire nori sheet all the way to here with rice, but that's just way too much for us. We don't like to have that much rice. But the fillings are so good, and we like the sushi, you know, the seaweed, the nori. So that's about what I do for a full sheet here. And then you want to get your more solid items on this side of the sheet. So when you go to roll it, it has something to kind of secure it in. And I should have done the same thing with my crab strips, huh? Measure them out, but that's good. So I just got one of those sticks and I sliced them in half. So this was like a full one and I sliced it in half like that. And I'll do a piece of cucumber. And then you want to do your avocado last because it's kind of squishy. Just about like that, okay? So then the same thing with the other one. You just want to kind of tuck it in and roll it over itself. And then you want to kind of pull it here as you're holding it with this hand, just to kind of compact it a little bit. There. And then you just keep rolling it until you're done. Sometimes I'll have to kind of pick it up and pull it back to myself to roll it all the way up like that. And there's a California roll. Some people would flick the nori over the other way so the rice would be on the outside, but I find it easier just to go ahead and roll it like this. It tastes the exact same as if you went through all that other work. So then you do the same thing with the other one. Sometimes most of the time I'll do 2 rolls at a time, and then I'll come through and cut both at the same time, and that saves a lot of wiping the knife and stuff if I'm cutting 2. And then you just want to cut it in half and then in half again. And then in half again. Make sure you're using a really sharp knife when you do this. I probably should have sharpened mine first. But then you get this beautiful roll of sushi. And it's delicious. It's really easy to make. It just has some steps of prepping. You know, you have to prep all of your vegetables and your meat and stuff. Sometimes if you poke a hole in it first, it'll cut a little easier. Sometimes the nori sheets are dry when you don't use the correct amount of rice, because the rice kind of makes it moist, which makes it cut through the nori a little easier. My husband likes to have a little bit of wasabi on top of his, but I don't like spice, that much spice, so the spicy mayo is just about perfect. See these end pieces? Nah, that's normal. That happens. Sometimes I can work real hard to keep it all together, and it will, but you know what? It tastes exactly the same, no matter what it looks like, right? And I'm telling you, the chefs in the restaurants, those must be chef bites, because this is like what you would get in a restaurant, something like that. They must eat those end pieces. All right, so I probably have about, I usually go until I run out of something. So I'll probably have maybe 4 or 5 more rolls to do. I plan to try and fill up this sheet pan here. So I hope you guys learned a little something and you give it a shot. It takes some time, you know, don't be in a hurry when you need to do this. And I'm doing it, you know, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it can sit in the fridge and chill for a while, and I can go get all of my outside chores done. So if you guys like this, give me a comment down below and what you'd like to see me do next. I don't really go into like the raw seafood very much because I don't think it tastes very good. The smoked salmon is about as adventurous as I get with sushi, but if you guys have any requests, let me know. All right, guys, it looks like I got 7 rolls of California and 3 rolls of Philadelphia. So 10 rolls altogether, and there's 4 of us. So this will be our dinner tonight and our lunch tomorrow, and maybe a little bit for snack. So I used up all of the rice, and I had a little bit of crab left over, used all the cucumber I cut with some that I didn't cut, and about 3/4 of an avocado left. So I used 1 1/4 avocados for that. So now I just got to clean up my mess, and I'll wrap these up in saran wrap and put them in the fridge. That way everything can kind of solidify and get really nice and cold, which is how we like our sushi. So one trick I did find for when you're cutting your sushi and it's not really wanting to cut very well, what you can do is after you wipe off your knife on the rag that you're using, dip it into the bowl where you're wetting your hands and tip it up and let the water drop run down the knife blade. That way you can get through the nori easier. So I found that out. And I've made sushi 6 or 7 times already, so that was a trick I just figured out today, so I thought I would share. Well, I hope you guys give this a shot, and thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.